Andrew, good evening. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Great. Andrew, let's talk about something very important in investing, which is where do you get the money to invest? Right? You get so many great opportunities, but everything comes down to cash. You got to bring cash. You got to bring cash to buy the house or a property, and then you have to bring cash to make it repair, to make repairs and make it presentable. So, in our last call, we discussed your amazing cash cow in Cartagena that you snagged, that you got in 2019. And since then, the property has doubled in value and has become a cash cow for you, giving around $3,000 a month. That's absolutely amazing. Congratulations on getting there. But the difficult thing with such deals, with such gems, is where'd you get the money to buy it? Okay. Tell us, Andrew, how where'd you get this money to buy this property?
Sure. So when I saw the opportunity, I bought the condo for 170K. After the appraisal and closing costs, that 30% down payment with the bank was going to be a little over 80K. So I had the money in stocks at the time. I don't really manage much cash. I typically have everything invested. So I called my bank, Morgan Stanley, and I told them about my situation. I want to invest in this property, but I don't want to sell my stocks. I think it's a bull market right now. It's going to keep going up. I don't want to lose out on that growth. So they actually told me they could give me a liquidity access line, which is a line of credit against my portfolio. So if I had 100K in my portfolio, they would give me up to 85K as a line of credit at like it was between 4 to 5% interest rate. And I could borrow that and use it as I'd like on anything. And I didn't have any monthly payments. I could just not pay off for years if I wanted to. So that's where I pulled from and used it to pay for this down payment without having to sell my stocks, which just kept going up to. So now I was almost double dipping, right? Let's say I had 100K in stock that was growing, and then 80K in real estate also growing. Uh, I was growing faster than the money I actually had because I had access to this credit line.
That's amazing that you used a portfolio line of credit uh, to buy a property. You still had your stocks, and now you had on top of that an apartment in Cartagena. That's you didn't need to have that 80,000 sitting in your bank account. Yeah, you had that's that's very smart. Now, so you bought this beautiful beachside property, and you wanted to make it a very expensive Airbnb apartment. Uh, where'd you get the money to make the repairs? You don't have cash in your bank account. You don't have, or you used up your line of credit. Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Sure. So in this case, I wanted to renovate it. I wanted to make it the most beautiful one-bedroom apartment in Cartagena, and I think I did. But I saw there was an opportunity in the US with the 0% APR cards where you can get a credit card for 0% interest for like 18 months, even 24 months, even longer, I've seen. So for a year and a half, I could spend on this credit card and not pay it back for a year and a half and really pay no interest. I think it's the minimum payment of like $300 a month. So I got this card. I went to some designers in Colombia, and they let me pay for the entire renovation with the credit card. So I was able to remodel the entire apartment. I got some custom sculptures made. I had a lot of really nice custom furniture made. And the idea was that with this renovation, I could increase the nightly price of the rental, and the difference would sum up to pay back the mortgage. And I mean, that's proven true so far. I think we're breaking the 4K mark in March with rentals. I think last time we spoke, I told you I usually make between 3 to 4 grand. Now I think it'll be closer to 4 to 5 grand monthly. So since I have the bandwidth for 18 months to pay it off, I can take those gains and use that to pay back that loan. And then, obviously, if it's not enough, I can always pay it back. Even though I do have the money, I chose to not spend it because I had access to 0% credit. It's free credit. I should use it and really only rely on my liquidity for emergencies, in my opinion.
That's amazing. So you bought an apartment and repaired the apartment 100% on credit. You were you used other people's money 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way you do it, right? I think again, this is assuming you're someone who doesn't already have a ton of debt, you're not paying off debt. But I think people don't realize that, and there's a lot of people who have good jobs, like us, they're in tech, they're engineers, but sometimes they live in a high cost of living city. Their day-to-day expenses are high. They know they can make the money for something, but they don't have it in cash right now. So what credit allows you to do is kind of defer that payment, especially when you already have consistent income, you have reliable income, you're going to make the money eventually. Or in a lot of cases, a lot of engineers, they get paid in stock, right? That does invest for a few months or a year after they join. So you might already know you're going to get paid so much money in 6 months once your stock vests and you can sell it, but you might not have access to those funds right now. So credit allows you to be able to use that money in advance, and really make use of your assets.
That's beautiful. Basically, you used 0% of your own money down, like maybe small amounts here and there, but for like large things, you were 100% used other people's money.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
when I had the liquidity access line against my portfolio, I would just spend from the line of credit, and then whenever I would get a paycheck, I just pay back the line of credit because I didn't want, first off, it's tedious to be selling stock every day. Like, okay, let me see how much money I need today. I just don't like to handle cash. And a 4% interest rate, versus what my portfolio was doing, I was still benefiting a lot. So yeah, I mainly lived off credit. I still do. I probably want to reduce that ratio this year, though it's not bad. It's under 10%, honestly, of my total net worth. But yeah, I think it's a very useful tool if you know how to use it properly and you can use it responsibly and with sustainable interest rates and payments.
Man, that's really smart. 0% your own money, yeah, 100% on credit. You bought a beautiful property, and which is giving you a good cash flow. And let's talk about another amazing property that you have. It's in Patagonia, and it's part of Hilton. Tell us about the property and where did you get the money to purchase it?
Hey, so this is a really cool property, actually. I traveled to Argentina with a friend 2 or 3 years ago, and I wanted to stay at this new Hilton they had built there, but it was sold out. So I began kind of searching online how I could find a way around to book it, and I realized it had been built by this investor group. So I contacted them and said, "Hey, your hotel's doing really well. Let me buy some shares of it, or let me buy part of it." And they said, "Sure, we can do that, but we're launching another Hilton hotel next year. We haven't announced it yet. Are you interested?" So I bought shares in that Hilton hotel. I paid 30% down, and then I'm paying the rest off in quotes until it's constructed and delivered in January 2027. Obviously, I've already seen some pretty good appreciation. I'm really happy about the construction. It's already underway and doing very, very well. And so for that one, I had the cash. Actually, I think at that point I was still using partly the line of credit with Morgan Stanley, but I also got an offer with American Express to get a personal loan with them. I think it was like 25K for 10%. And I knew depreciation of that hotel investment would be much greater than 10%. And at the same time, I was getting into a bunch of different properties. I didn't want to potentially hit a liquidity crunch. So then I got that loan to provide more buffer space and more cash for me to be able to confidently, enter these investments and at the same time anticipate volatility in the future market. Because, for example, I'm paid with a lot of stock, right? So Snapchat stock trades like a penny stock. If any month it goes in a lot, I don't want to feel like I rely on that certain stock price. I want to have a lot of I would have a lot of runway cash wise.
Great, great. So you Hilton Patagonia, that's a Hilton apartment hotel? Or what is a
It's a
condotel?
project. So it's just a hotel. I own a part of it. Though in the future, I do want to get more into hotel condos. I think that's a really great model. I might build a project like that myself. It's something I'm looking into.
Wow, great. So to get a share of the Hilton project in Patagonia, you took out a personal loan.
For the down payment, of course,
The down payment,
which for
yeah.
part of the 30% down payment, the majority of it I'm paying monthly, and it's not a big deal.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So uh, let's pause it here.
So that's been my experience leveraging, U.S. credit in Latin America. But I'm sure in the U.S. credit financing works very differently as well, more for home purchases and mortgages. What's your experience been like there?
Yep. I've been using credit a lot in my real estate journey since 2016 because I've been the only income earner in the family. I've had two kids, and I had to be creative in how I where I get the money. Yeah, I was a junior developer, just making probably around $100,000, but I had these big ambitions to buy properties, and the first time I used credit to purchase a house was for a very nice house, a townhouse in Colombia. It was a $280,000 property. I was paying 5% down. That's about um, $20,000 down payment plus closing costs. Yeah, and for this, I did the balance transfer. I did, I planned ahead, uh, and so I did a credit card balance transfer. Credit card balance transfers are beautiful tools. I will share a screenshot of one such offer I get in the mail. If when you get these credit card balance transfer offers, make sure to grab them. Okay, they're highly attractive, like the 0% APR cards. You can usually have two options. You can do 0% for 12 months, or you can do 18 months for like 5%. Yeah, either option is good. Yeah, I usually go for the 0%, and so in this case, I took out about $20,000 and used it to buy a very nice house in Colombia, which has since appreciated about $150,000 and actually just put up for sale today. And besides credit card balance transfers, I also have used my 401k. I didn't know about taking credit against 401k. I wish I did. Uh, I just cashed out my 401k and helped my brother buy a house because I believed so much in real estate, much more than in stocks. Because in stocks or 401k, I feel I'm very passive. You're just sitting there hoping it goes up, which usually it does, but you're just waiting. But with real estate, I can control, yeah, how I improve it, what kind of tenants get in, which kind of area you're buying the house in. So I just wanted to help my brother buy a house and become a homeowner, achieve the American dream. And so he bought a nice townhouse in Towson, Maryland. And the house has since appreciated 50%. And so I gave him $20,000 through my 401k. So these are my
Congrats.
two key tools I use uh, on the personal side.
Congrats. Yeah, I agree. I'm on the same boat as you. I also cashed out my 401k. Now that I'm in Washington, so it's a no state tax state. Um, I have um, I have some investment vehicles abroad where I don't pay any taxes, but
Mm,
that's another story for another day. So I don't really need the tax advantages of a 401k. I'd rather spend it now when I know I can make the
yes.
money grow, and again, I want to pay taxes anyway. Balance transfers, I did one or two when the offers did come up. I agree, they're very useful. With one Chase card, I was able to do a balance transfer right to my checking account. Um, but actually, one hack you have if you ever want to cash out like a 0% APR card, because they also allow balance transfers, right? You don't have to spend on things. Is there's a card called the build card, and you can use that to pay your rent. But what do I mean? Because rent is usually paid through a direct deposit or check. What they do is they'll actually either do a direct deposit or mail you a check to pay your rent, and then it'll come up as a balance on the bill card, which isn't 0% APR. But then what you can do is you can do a balance transfer from your 0% APR card to the build card. And so
Mm.
that way your rent is paid and the money that you were supposed to use to pay rent, you still get to keep. So that's a really creative way of cashing out a 0% APR card if you do want to get the liquidity without, but you can't use it for a purchase with a credit card, like a down payment, for example.
That's amazing. I've seen the built advertisements and I never quite understood the value of it until you just told me that they actually send you a check, which is beautiful. How big is the limit they give you on a built credit card?
So I have a 30K, they gave me a 30K limit.
Right off the bat
Yeah.
when you apply. Wow. It's a pretty good limit for right off the bat to give you $30,000. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I know, but it's got me nervous about applying for 0% APR cards because I don't want the ding and then get a card with a $5,000 limit, right? Actually, another quick hack. I don't know if you know about this, but if you already have credit cards with Chase or American Express, and then you get a 0% APR card, and let's say they only give you like a $5,000 credit limit, you can actually transfer your credit limit from other cards to that card. So that's what I did with my 0% APR card. I think they only gave me like 15 or 20K. And so I transferred like 50K from my Chase Sapphire card to that card. And so I had more than enough for my renovation.
Great, great. Yes, and now, we just talked about these personal products, personal financial products. There are also similar products for businesses. Yeah, and I just discovered them last couple of years, and I love them so much. The first one is balance transfers on business credit cards. Uh, on my Bank of America personal credit card, I have like $60,000 credit line. It took me like 8 years to build up. Yeah, they let you get there slowly. But with business credit cards, they give you like 20, 30, $40,000. So I really like these um, business products, and so I've actually used business credit card balance transfer for home repairs. The house that I'm selling right now in Columbia, Maryland, I've taken about $30,000 out of it to pay for the builders, the materials, HVAC repairs, and get into a very nice selling piece of property. And have you ever used business credit card tools?
I have not. I learned about it from you. And I think the very appealing part of it is that it doesn't show up in your personal credit history, right?
Yes, 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 exactly.
But something that makes sense with the business credit cards is that if, let's say, in 2 months, I want to apply for a mortgage in the US and I want to up my credit score, I could do a balance transfer for all of these debts and consolidate them into a single business card, right? And then I still have the debt, I can still pay it off over time, but I'm not, it's not going to show up on my credit score, on my credit history. I think that's amazing.
Yep, yep, yep. It's I want to show you the next tool that I've been using last probably 1 year, and it's the business line of credit from American Express. It's called Business Blueprint. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I wanted that, but I got rejected because on their website you had to link a bank account, and I have Morgan Stanley, and they're actually not compatible with Morgan Stanley. I called them and everything. They said no, it has to be like a Chase account or something else. So that's why I haven't been able to actually get that.
mm, and so they make like balance transfers are finicky. The offers are really good, but you don't always have it on hand. When you want it, it might not be there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, uh, but American Express is always there for you. All it takes is just you go into your account, click take a loan, and it here you enter the amount that you want to borrow. I've almost used up all my business line of credit, so I only have $700 left. And they give you the payment schedule.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if I take this to make it easier, let's say I borrow $100 On
Yeah.
the minimum is 500. Okay, let's say I borrow $500, then every month I'd be paying $100 and return then 45 extra, yeah, which is how much? Which is 9% annualized.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's so I really like this tool because it's always there for you, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I recommend everybody make sure to keep your personal credit score in line, keep it very high, and also open up business lines of credit. Yeah, I highly recommend American Express, certainly. Also, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America. These are my favorite.
I think when you see like a really good opportunity, take it. I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, First Republic was doing lines of credit. I think it was up to 200 or 250K at
What?
1.99%. Yeah, it was
What?
insane. I got to the process in California, then I moved to Florida, so I wasn't eligible anymore. But even when First Republic went bankrupt, they still honored the loans. I have friends who still have that line of credit, which is it's free money, like 2% for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when I went through the process, all they asked for was to show that you had doubled that in assets. So if you had doubled that in stocks or something or cash, they would accept that too. So that was a very attractive offer. I probably won't come across again in a lifetime. So if you do see any attractive offers that come up, I would say take advantage of them. Kind of like your line of credit, even if it's just there for the future, you're approved, you got it right, and then when you do need it, you can use it.
Well, that's I never heard about it, but I wish I did. And yeah, guys, make sure to watch the advertisement in your mail. Yeah, I know a lot of it we get as junk, like restaurant opening or some other useless things, but these balance transfer offers, 0% APR offers are really good actually. Hey guys, I hope this conversation has been really useful for you because if you are a real estate investor, you'll always face cash crunch. Okay, there is nobody who uses cash for everything. Yeah, uh, even high income earners like us, we face cash difficulties because we like to invest. Yeah, we like to buy properties and we need to improve the properties, and so we have to know where to get the money when the situation happens. So make sure to rewatch this video. Make sure if there is something we missed, if there is something else out there that is really good, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to learn from you. Anything you want to say, Andrew?
No, I'm good. It's keep exploring and trying new things.
All right.